Hi, everyone. Doug Jenkins with the Findlay Hancock County Chamber of Commerce with you on our YouTube channel once again, joined by Eddie Black of your CBD store, Findlay, as we continue to examine the impact that COVID-19 has had on our area businesses and the ways that our businesses have adapted to it. Eddie's joining us here today, the first day that they're going to be able to have people back in the store. We're going to talk all about that as well. Eddie, first of all, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Doug. Always a pleasure.
So it's been a long road here over the last few months. First, everybody had to shut down. Then people were figuring out curbside. Then looking at the reopening strategies. You've been there every day through this. Let's go through it. First, let's talk about just how you shifted your business to curbside, because that was a big part of keeping your doors open, so to speak, in the early part of this.
Yeah, definitely huge. For us, we kind of were proactive. We had shut our doors down to the public actually about 2-3 days before the governor mandate. So we were kind of a little bit ahead of the curve. We kind of saw things coming. With the age and the demographic of our customers, safety was our first and probably top priority when it come to that. So we saw kind of what was on the wall, and we shut our doors down a couple days early, actually right before my birthday. With that being said, we switched our business over to that curbside pickup. The free delivery here in town, and then the free shipping from our store to their door. And I thought that was important that we did it from our store, so we knew it was sanitized, it was local, and it was going to get to them quicker than us doing it from our fulfillment center in Florida. So yeah, it was a big shift.
What was the customer response when you decided to close a little bit earlier than even the shutdown orders came? Because there's a fine line to walk there, and then some people they don't take kindly to that, but that's something that you mulled over and a strategy that you decided to take.
Yeah, it's a tough decision, and it's a sensitive decision for a lot of different people. And at the end of the day, we kind of knew what was coming. We have some people in the medical field that we are always in communication with. They kind of knew it was coming. Everybody kind of saw the writing on the wall, so we were just a little bit ahead of the curve. Customers would come up to the door, and I think most of them were very respectful and understanding. And the fact that we were just still here in any way, shape, or form to be able to help them out, I think that was huge. Our biggest thing was we wanted to try to find any way within the rules to make sure that we were still able to get the product to the customer that's been relying on it. Our real core base, they expect us to be here almost every 30 to 45 days.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that shift and how others might be able to do it. Even though the people are starting to open their doors up, we are seeing a lot of businesses are saying, you can still do curbside pickup if you're more comfortable with that. What are some things that you have found that work, and what are some things that maybe didn't work for you?
Yeah, honestly, the hardest part is trying to maintain the phone calls coming in while you're doing the curbside delivery and giving that customer their thing. With our business, I think the biggest shift was we do consultations. With that customer that's already bought something from us, that's a pretty quick transaction. But that customer that's never had a product from us, or maybe never tried a CBD product, that could be a pretty long conversation to go over all the things necessary to make sure we find the right product for them. And I think that not having multiple employees in the store, trying to keep it as safe as possible, limited that exposure within the building, and then also maintaining that customer service for the customer was a little bit of a balance at first that we weren't used to. And it took us about a week or so to kind of really get that figured out.
So a little bit of a learning curve, a little bit of patience needed to get those operations going.
It is. And, I think for us, the biggest thing was just getting the message out that you were still there in any way, shape, or form. Trying to communicate that in a sensitive manner. And I think, a lot of the retail businesses, and I saw on some of the other webinars you've done, that sensitivity of trying to maintain safety, but yet still maintain your business, still maintain being there for the customer, and, still trying to balance in all the balls as a retail person in our field has to do.
Well, Eddie, you have been a frequent flyer on a lot of the different programs that we've done, and we certainly appreciate that. But some of that focus has been on what you just talked about, making sure that your information on the internet is up to date, and making sure that when people Google your hours, that they're reflected accurately in there. And I think that's one thing that you've been able to take advantage of, and certainly suggest to other people, is make sure your information is up to date, because it could be changing week to week right now.
Yeah, and it was easy to get kind of complacent and just kind of sit back a little bit. But I think my wife and I decided we're going to try to jump into every opportunity that we can as far as opportunities to help. We've donated over a couple hundred hand sanitizers. Our company came out with a CBD 100 milligram hand sanitizer. So we've passed out hundreds of those throughout the medical field, throughout the community. We've done a lot of different things where we've had opportunity to give back to some of our customers that have been loyal to us. So I think that first and foremost was a big shift, was how can we give back to the community, but yet still, let people know we're there for them. The other one was the community has had tons of different resources available to us as a business owner. And I think, being part of Findlay and seeing seeing some of the stuff that's going on with our 600 stores in the country, because we're on webinars weekly,
Mhm.
our community really pulled together and has offered, stuff that has made me think, hey, am I doing that? Watching the webinar with the Google Analytics and seeing what some of the other retail business owners are doing really kind of made me think and help put my game plan together. Making appointments on Facebook, doing different things that as a business maybe we never looked at before this pandemic came about.
Well, let's talk about the reopening process. Like we said, the doors are reopening for you today, as they are for several of our retailers around the city and the county. What has the ramp up process been like for you? What are some of the precautions that you're taking to make sure that it's a safe experience, but also, you don't want people to come in and be nervous, especially in your setting where you said you're doing a lot of consulting. So you have to put people at ease the second they walk through that door. How are you doing that?
It's been a change, and honestly, I think it's never set in stone right now. Daily, there's different rules, regulations, restrictions being lifted or put in place. So for us, it's trying to make sure that we're as connected with the changes as we can be on a daily basis. The second part is we had to kind of change our retail layout. I mean, I know, Doug, you've been in the store, and several people here in Findlay, that have came in our store are going to see some changes. We obviously had to get rid of some of the furniture and some of the things that were preventing that 6-foot distancing, so people could be in the store. We're going to have to limit a little bit of our people that are allowed in the store at one time. I think, when you get too many people, and I've been into several businesses around town where you get a lot of people in one tight space right now, and it can get pretty nervous and pretty uncomfortable for people. And that's the last thing I want, is somebody to come in our store. So it is a balancing act. How do you, keep things in place to make sure that everybody's safe? I think we've done a great job. My wife and I have worked on getting things in place for the last probably week and a half. So we've got our floor stickers that will designate the 6-foot space, so we can do a consultation with you and still maintain that safe distancing. We've got a splash guard or a sneeze shield in front of our register, which gives us that extra barrier just to make people feel comfortable. And I think when it came to figuring out what we wanted to do in our store and on our business, we tried to err on the side of caution as much as possible. I'd rather have somebody come in our store and feel safe and comfortable than to have them having that uncomfortable feeling because we didn't provide enough safety or enough distance for them. So we are sanitizing regularly. Like everybody else, we're following the governor's guidelines of once a week doing the heavy, deep sanitation. I think, Doug, we talked about challenges, and I think a lot of businesses, I know myself, getting the equipment to make sure that you're sanitizing everything correctly and those kind of things is a daily hunt for us. We're constantly. The other thing too is, apologize, there might be some noise, there's construction going on next door.
All right, we like to hear it. That means that there's construction and business happening.
This area, I tell you, the north end over here, since we've moved in, has really been booming. A lot of businesses coming in around the corner. We're loving to see that still continue, and especially with everything that's going on, to see a new business moving in next door. That's reassuring and comforting to know. But with the sanitization was, we want to make sure every order is sanitized before it goes in the bag. So everything gets box wiped down, everything gets sanitized before it's put into your bag. Your bag is stapled up, receipts on the outside, limiting as much contact as possible. So, making sure that the credit card reader is wireless and on the other side of the sneeze shield, and to have the tapless option if you want, or the Apple Pay if you want, so you don't have to touch the buttons. We've been doing everything that we've seen other businesses be successful with and other industries be successful with. And again, I felt more comfortable erring on the side of over precaution than to ever make somebody feel uncomfortable in our store. With that being said, though, we are still offering the curbside pickup for that customer that does not want to come into the retail location, is not comfortable yet. We completely understand that. We also are going to be giving that free delivery and the free shipping option too for the customer if they still want to continue to do that. Because I think it's going to be a while before people are comfortable getting back out in the public and back out into those situations. And a lot of our customers are immune compromised. They have issues. They're in that risk factor of wanting to try to stay out of the public. So as many ways as we can make it possible. And then again, if you want to come into our store, you feel comfortable, you want to come in, we're providing all the safety options for you to come in. And we know it's hard to purchase a product like this sometimes for some people without seeing it, without understanding what you're getting and seeing that retail shop you're buying something from. So we get that.
Well, Eddie, a lot of things there for I think businesses in our area to consider, and some definitely some hard work being done on your end. And questions will continue to come, but we'll be ready to answer them, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that was the biggest message for me and my wife, was to make sure that people understood that we were going to do every single thing we could to be here. Like, got a little hairy there for a while. It got down to the point where we were only able to do shipping. So we couldn't do the curbside, we couldn't do delivery, but we were still finding every way possible to let that customer know, if you need something from us, we're here for
All right, Eddie Black, thanks for joining us today.
you. Thank you, Doug.
And again, we'll be continuing to put different advice for businesses looking to reopen, and what that's going to look like here on our YouTube channel. On Facebook, we'll be talking about some unique ways that businesses have been operating as well. That's if Facebook likes to cooperate with the Zoom when we port that over. Sometimes it works, other times, we take what we can get with the technology sometimes. For Eddie Black, I'm Doug Jenkins with the Findlay Hancock County Chamber.